What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we are back with another All-22 video breakdown for the Detroit Lions. And today, we're diving into the defensive side of the ball from this Lions-Bears game. Now, I don't know that we're actually going to have a video like this for the offense from this game. We talked about some of the specific plays from both offense and defense on a Monday right after the game before the All-22 came out. And then also yesterday, I did a show on Bleacher Report. You guys can go check that out. If you go to the Bleacher Report app, you can go to the DoseOfDion page, and you can find some of my past records there or past live streams. We did a live stream yesterday. It was about 30 minutes long. We looked at some specific plays offensively from that game, and we really just broke it down. We showed different graphics, like for example this graphic that I'll show on the screen right now, first down efficiency, and we kind of talked through some of the issues in that game from the Lions offensively. So we may not get to a full video on that. I thought, overall kind of key takeaways, and we've said this many times, but key players, they didn't really come through in that game. I thought Goff missed some passes that I expect that he will hit going forward. Obviously, we had the really big problems in terms of some of the pre-snap penalties that we had, as well as, the turnovers, but the turnovers really weren't the worst thing outside of the muff snap. That was really the key for me in this one. We left some easy stuff out there. Some of the completions that we left out there, we got caught behind the chains, had some miscommunication between receivers and quarterbacks when we could have cut down how far we actually had to go on third down. That with Ben Johnson, because I know now there's people that are like, oh, how about Ben Johnson? Is he hurting his stock to be a head coach? I mean, honestly, as a selfish Lions fan, I'll say hopefully, because I'd love for him to stay here, but I didn't have any issue really with what he did. I actually thought he came out, had some really unique creative designs based on what we did in the first half. However, the difference was we didn't execute, and I think a lot of times that can be kind of put together as like, well, is it execution versus the play call? And so to me, this is why I didn't have a play calling issue, right? One thing that we did well in the first half was we stayed on schedule, right? Even from Goff just avoiding a Montez Sweat sack and throwing it away where nobody was open, it kept us to like a 3rd and 3, so it gave us a chance. But here in the second half, this isn't a bad play call. You get the same offset offensive line look. You put Dan Skipper at right tackle. You kick over the offensive line, move Penei Sewell. You go 6 offensive linemen. And when you do that offensively, now all of a sudden, notice how Montez Sweat crashes on the play, where over and over he was containing. We weren't able to get any boot action going because he would take it away. He crashes, so you get the crash you want, and then all of a sudden, you don't hit the pass to Khalif Raymond crossing the field. Kyler Gordon covers up a little out route from Josh Well. It's good coverage, and we don't hit the crossing route. Or this play here, right? It's set up. It's open. Josh Reynolds. But Brisker makes a good play. Goff can try to no-look, hold that underneath defender, yet still he makes like an awkward jump and somehow just gets his hands on the football and knocks it away. Then you go back to the run, get a positive gain, and the very next play, you muff the snap. So, again, I didn't hate the play calling. You just didn't execute. That was the main thing. And again, certain things like this, I expect they will, but the creativity was still there, no question. And there are questions about certain things that they did. I've questioned certain times not having pass protection where we have the numbers, but they give us a blitz look and they get a free rusher. And there were 2 perfect examples, one to Sam Laporta, one to the back, where we complete the pass on one, we go for no yards, and then Laporta's broken down at the line of scrimmage. So, those were some little examples where I would say, like, okay, maybe we should have just left someone in the pass protect, maybe just leave Laporta in the pass protect, give us more of an opportunity. So there's been things I've had, like little knocks like that, or you could look at the big 4th and 10 opportunity where we literally ran a bunch on one side of the field. We ran layers. We had a corner route followed by kind of a dig route, corner route followed by an out route, followed by even a shallower out route, and that kind of had everybody in a little bit of a bunch there. But it was honestly the exact same thing that we did to Tampa Bay when we scored our touchdown. If you remember back to the Tampa Bay game when Jameson Williams had his touchdown, we're like, man, what happened there? And the next week it was like, look what the Lions did. They did this hurry up snap where no one was really ready defensively for us to snap the ball. However, the Bears handled it well. They didn't rotate their safeties. Their Eddie Jackson got right on top of Jameson Williams. Maybe that was a little bit because of how Goff moved the pocket. They took the shot away. Then all of a sudden, Jalen Johnson played between the two. It really was going to be difficult to hit St. Brown and pick up the first down, so Goff kind of had to go second level, and the pass was intercepted. So, like, for me, there's little things maybe, but I can't say I hated the play calling necessarily. There's a lot of occasions where we just didn't execute, and the Bears have a good defense, so you left some little things out there, you make some little mistakes, and all of a sudden, those things start to pile up. And definitely go check out that episode if you want to know more about that. You want to see exact specific clips, because I don't know that we're going to do an offensive All-22. We may show some clips like tomorrow in a pregame show or something. However, today, if y'all want that, we can do a whole show. We'll find time if that's what y'all really want. However, today I want to talk about the defense, because there's been weeks this year where we've kind of just moved past the defense. And it's honestly surprised me a little bit to see some of the kind of the pushback on the defense. Not as a whole necessarily, like that I understand, but specifically from this last game against Chicago. Because to be honest, I walked away from this one like, man, the Lions defense was pretty good in this game. Obviously, the scoreboard doesn't represent they were perfect in this one, but But you look at the situations that happened, obviously the muff snap tied along with the touchdown given up on 4th and 13 where they missed an intentional grounding the play before. Like, there was instances of that. It's not an excuse, it's the reality of what happened. But I didn't think our defense was terrible. I thought it actually did a lot of things good, and I thought there was things that we didn't do so good. One thing that's been kind of a consistent thing that I've said over here about the defense is I think we kind of know where our issues are defensively, and it's no coincidence the Lions have started to kind of like, okay, let's add this piece and let those guys kind of work it out. For example, the cornerback position, Jerry Jacobs, and also Kindle Vildor. Kindle Vildor seemed to play pretty good in this game, but there was some little things in communication that popped up, and that's probably just because it's his first week playing with us. So there's issues like that. We've had those issues in zone coverage. We'll show some examples. We've had issues in communication, but when you talk about the linebacker group, I thought they played a really strong game. Alex had a little bit of a rough start, specifically not getting outside on a play where they scored a touchdown, missing a tackle, which set up a 3rd and short. And then obviously Justin Fields took off. But when you talk about shutting down any design runs for Fields, Lions were pretty much great there the entire game. Their run defense is still legit, just like Aaron Glenn pointed out. Their run defense is still good. I thought they won that battle up front a lot of the day. Hurts to not have a lean, but I thought they actually did pretty well. For example, Isaiah Buggs on the front side. Thought he was really good when a run came towards him. Occasionally on the backside, you get him stuck behind the play a little bit. I thought Benito had some good in there, specifically against the run as well. And we had some breakdowns in terms of contain. And we're going to show a few of those examples, but honestly, I still thought there was a lot of good. There's also some things that we got to point out. It's like, that's an issue. This needs to get fixed. So we're going to do that in today's video.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
First play, now this isn't maybe the best view, but because we have multiple examples, I'm just going to kind of show a few different examples. It's really what I just said in terms of playing kind of the design quarterback runs really well. That zone read that in the past has given us big time issues. Now you understand, you look at field stats, 58 rushing yards, that's still a good amount of rushing yards, but about 30 of those coming on a scramble where you don't come up with a sack. I believe it was on a 3rd and 7, 11 more of those yards, or maybe even more than 11 yards, came on a touchdown scramble on a 3rd and 11 where he takes off, and actually Aaron Glenn addressed that play where the Lions tried to run a stunt and it got blocked up well. We're going to show that play. But design runs, the Lions did probably their best I've ever seen against Justin Fields in really shutting that aspect of it down. I thought the linebacker play, as well as the slot play, in terms of the edge play, is keeping an edge. The edge defenders here, or your defensive ends, the John Kaminsky's, and then also the linebacker position, man, they were in sync. The safeties gave us support at times, which was necessary, and they all really played really well, stopping Justin Fields, seeing him within a few weeks there. It was great to see that kind of carry over, as well as you just got to see New Orleans Saints and Taysom Hill, so maybe that helped out a little bit as well. But here you can see John Kaminsky kind of playing in that 4-eye here on that left tackle. He's trying to hold his ground, but it's Jack Campbell and it's always Brian Branch, man. His run support's always big time, and you see it right here. You're going to see him flying on the screen. He's able to kind of set an edge as a slot. Jack Campbell then sticks with the run. The discipline there. Lions shut down the first zone read. Just to begin the game, the Lions shut it down defensively, so that's a good start. Now, this is where the rush yards really came in for Justin Fields. Plays just like this. We've said in the past, man, when you're playing man coverage, that defensive front is very important. They have to stop the run. Simple as that, because we are not playing a spy. Those guys up front have to be able to contain the quarterback, and we always would compare it to liquid, man. You got to fill in the open gaps, and on a play like this, right, they're going to try to get Aiden Hutchinson on their right guard, Nate Davis. They were kind of looking to do that a lot of the game, and he got a little bit of pressure here on Nate Davis. Good job by Fields getting depth, but then stepping up the pocket. I thought there was some good pocket play from him in this game versus maybe the first time around, but with that, watch the interior kind of ends up spreading, right? They don't really get that same knockback, walkback push that you see from John Kaminsky there on their left tackle. Instead, you kind of get a spread. Benito Jones gets to the outside, Isaiah Buggs goes to the outside, and because of that, now you just open up this huge lane. Now, Benito has a shot to bring him down. It's going to be difficult for him to do so. Isaiah Buggs, you can see he can't really get his hands free. He wasn't able to really keep himself clean on that one, and when both guys spread out, all of a sudden, Justin Fields takes off. So it wasn't as much of design runs that were the issue. It was more things like that. Now, this is a great example because I love that Aaron Glenn kind of broke down what took place here, because we see this live and we're like, man, what happened? Then I watch it back, And I'm like, okay, they ran a stunt between, they wanted Levi to essentially crash down. That way they could open up Aiden Hutchinson to shoot inside. It's a third down. He wants to get after the quarterback. You understand that. But I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't really know what Levi's supposed to do here, because when Aiden Hutchinson crashes inside, Darnell Wright kind of just walls him off, and there's no way that Levi's going to get around the edge once he crashes inside. But according to Aaron Glenn, this was a call that Aiden Hutchinson had made. The issue was this: the offensive line is actually going to slide. They're going to do slide protection to the right. So watch the center Patrick. Watch him here. He's going to slide to the right. Once they slide to the right, it throws everything off, and it felt like as soon as Hutchinson dove inside, he immediately was like, yep, this is not good. He slides over, instead of the center being like aware of, okay, where's the defensive tackle, and he's opening himself up to Isaiah Buggs, and now Hutchinson could potentially get a free rush towards the interior with this kind of two-rusher look on one side of the field. Instead, the center has paying no attention to Isaiah Buggs here. He's just sliding to Aiden Hutchinson. So once that happens, you don't get that free rush from Hutchinson to spill him out of the pocket, and then Levi gets walled off because everybody's already shifting one direction. So watch Levi crash down here on the right guard, but they're slanting that way, so he doesn't get a clean crash on the right guard either. But then the center's also slid over, so now there's no open lane, so now Hutchinson's stuck, and then you can see Darnell Wright, because he's sliding that direction, just turns and walls him off, and he opens up the pass rush lane, and Levi has no chance to get through, and it felt like Hutch right there was like, oh dang, that did not work. You tried to run him down, he took off and scored. So I love that Aaron Glenn broke that down, because I'm watching it, I'm just like, I don't really know what the guys are supposed to do there, but it was a call that they made, and it just didn't work out. That's what happened on that play. And that, again, that's where the rush yards came into play. And then there was a little thing like this. This one was kind of weird, but the Lions like seemingly are going to slant their defensive line, try to get Isaiah Buggs into the A gap. Hutchinson, let's get into the B gap. They have Iffy rolling down, and then they have kind of the D gap that's being held up out here. Now, Iffy, I love the way that he played the run, by the way. Okay, I'm just going to point that out. You can see Alex Anzalone's going to spill towards the outside, and then they're going to allow Iffy to jump inside. That way they could handle that zone read once again. However, you can see here they really aren't able to get Aiden Hutchinson into that gap, because Isaiah Buggs is just kind of jumping into the A-gap on this play. Aiden Hutchinson can't completely get inside. Wright does just enough. So even though Hutchinson, it looks like he's winning the block, he's not able to essentially get inside. So now it springboards kind of a big open run lane. And again, this was really just the first drive. Most of these plays, not the touchdown play, but a lot of these are the first drive. And it was little things like this that kind of led to the touchdown drive, right? Little things like this. The Lions played the quarterback run really well. Outside of this play, if he fills right outside the tackle between the tight end, but notice how steep Derek Barnes gets. He has that inside help, but he still gets too steep on this play. Fields pulls it down, and they give up the edge. That was really the only clean example I saw of what they had offensively in terms of the zone read actually being successful. That one specific example, they handled it outside of that. Also, I mean, we don't have any clips really in here from Levi, but man, I thought Levi showed something. I'm telling you, I thought Levi gave us a little bit. So every time I watch it, it's not like, whoa, I'm blown away, I need to make a video on Levi, but I do see something there with Levi. He didn't look terrible. Now, on this play, you're going to see as a 3 technique, he kind of gets stuck inside a little bit on this wildcat look where DJ Moore's going to fake it to Justin Fields, and he's going to take this sweep towards the outside and walk into the end zone. I circle a little bit more of Alex Anzalone here, dealing with the slot, kicking in with the slot, and you can see they're just going to pin down Hutchinson and then sweep outside of it. Alex Anzalone is unable to then get outside, because once he walks in, now the other receiver dives down, pins him down. Now all of a sudden you have really no edge support outside of Jerry Jacobs, and he's trying to get to the outside because you had to force him back inside. You can see Hutchinson try to fight through it, but I mean, there really wasn't much of a chance here once they pinned it down. This was their first drive. They started off with some fire, but after that, the Lions settled in. And one guy that was a big part of that, we talked about Jack Campbell last week. I wanted to show some plays this week. Jack Campbell against the run, man. And when he's playing on that strong side of the formation, when he's reading, that's what stuck out to me. How fast is recognition one? You still had inconsistent, like, okay, stack shed. It wasn't always the most fluid, like an example like this, where maybe you give up a little bit more than you would like to on this run. But the recognition by Campbell was on point, reading the offensive line. And you get a great example like this, okay? Here he is. Watch him read the pulling offensive lineman, Nate Davis. They're going to set up this counter pull on the play, but he's reading it. He dives down. You're going to see they're kind of crash down here on Josh Pascal, try to really push him out of the way. Doesn't do a bad job initially holding his ground here on that left tackle, but they want to get him out of the way to try to springboard this run. That way the puller can come around. They want to pick up Derek Barnes and shoot this thing into the second level. Now, the block that they have for Jack Campbell is going to be their fullback on the play, but Jack Campbell reads it. Look how fast he is to scrape down, settle himself in. Now, he doesn't cleanly get off this block, but he does attack it at the point of attack. back, he slides off it there, and he kind of trips him up. He falls forward for a few extra yards than you would like, but I love the recognition. We'll come back with another play just like it. Now, this one I actually give Iffy a lot of credit. I thought Iffy played pretty hard well, and Aaron Glenn said that they wanted to give Iffy some looks at safety, and also because of that, we're also seeing Brian Branch play majority just the slot role, but they wanted to see Iffy. It was just about getting him healthy and right, and they want to see what it looks like. I walked away thinking, man, look, Iffy wasn't perfect. Some little things popped up. And I'll say this, seemingly with CD Deuce on the horizon of returning at some point to the Lions, it also would make sense why they wanted to get some snaps for Iffy, because you don't really know where those are going to come in. Iffy does not get snaps now, and CD Deuce does come back. Where is Iffy going to get snaps at safety? So give him a look. But man, the run support was there. He did some good things in coverage. Obviously, he got beat on a little tight end crossing route, but there was also some really good. And this is what popped to me, was the run support that Iffy gave us, just like this. Okay, so watch. After this play, we have a good little read here by Jack Campbell, brings it down, but watch him on this play. Now, again, Josh Paschal, again, they're going to try to kind of pin it down, and Josh Paschal actually holds his ground really well here, working on the tackle, on their right tackle here, Darnell Wright. Look at Josh Paschal, man. We know he's a leverage monster, holds his ground pretty well, but if you notice between Iffy and Jack Campbell, watch this communication. So when the puller comes along, they're not setting up a counter here, but when the puller comes along, you see Iffy right there kind of give him that nudge to the inside. Derek Barnes does his job, maintains the outside, right? Stays on that outside shoulder to give contain, while at the same time, this little nudge by Iffy right here, bam, between the pulling offensive lineman Jenkins. There's only one for both players because the safety's rolled down on this play. With Iffy nudging him to go inside, Iffy saying, I can get to the outside of this blocker, and that's exactly what happened. So it allows Jack Campbell to see it, feel it, slide inside, and boom, and shut that thing down. Just shut it down at the point of attack. And also Josh Paschal holding his ground pretty well here. He's been a good run defender for us. But I just love that little thing from Iffy, because, man, I thought Iffy was doing his thing in run support. And now here from the defensive tackles, again, wasn't perfect. All right, there was examples you could point to where, like, that wasn't great, but there was also a lot of good. Specifically, a guy like Isaiah Buggs on the front side, I thought he was pretty good, holding his gaps. But then also on the backside, how about Benito Jones fighting through here, this right guard? Look at him continue to fight into this play, limit this inside, like, kind of zone look here from Justin Fields on this design quarterback run with the split block on the play. He handles business. Josh Paschal gets in the mix. And then speaking of Iffy, they try to go to a little trickery on 4th and 1, okay? They give you the QB sneak look. You're like, oh, this is absolutely a sneak. But two guys. First off, Josh Paschal right here on the edge on Braxton Jones. Leverage monster. Look how low he gets off the line here. Watch this. Bam. He's right in his shoulder, maintaining balance. He frees himself up to then go find the runner. And where that is key to me is right here, because once he finds that runner, he's able to help take away kind of an inside path for DJ Moore to immediately cut up the field. You see that effort that he gives? He doesn't give an immediate path. Also, Alex Anzalone, he's a little bit late with the fake, but Josh Paschal gave us some support there. And then it's just Iffy on the play. Iffy doing a great job shooting out there, reading it immediately. Right here, instead of filling, he immediately gets to the outside. He forces it back inside. Vildor's doing some work on Mooney, and Iffy shuts it down. Okay, another good play from Iffy against the run, man. He was doing his thing, I thought, against the run in this game. Then here we go, the zone read, shutting it down. Notice the offensive line is going to go to an unbalanced look. I think that's super interesting, and I think it kind of helps us here. One offensive lineman in Tevin Jenkins, and they go two tight ends. Here's the key to me. So watch both tight ends. They're going to release wide on the play. Derek Barnes keeps himself clean right here. Bam. Keeps himself clean, attacks upfield, but also maintains edge contain, right? He maintains that edge contain with contact, but keeping himself clean. Now he forces it back upfield. Now, because they only have one guard, they only have one player, one offensive lineman on that side of the ball, and once both tight ends release out, now Jack Campbell has an opportunity to step up and fill, and he's going to take away their one offensive lineman. So essentially, they put John Kaminsky in the mix, which I think as an offense, they're cool with. They're like, hey, we'll put John Kaminsky in the mix. That's fine with us. That's what we want to do, right? We want the big edge rusher having to run in space with Justin Fields. But with Derek Barnes getting the outside contain, Kirby stepping down to play the run, now all of a sudden he has to get back upfield, and then John Kaminsky makes a heck of an athletic play here. Very controlled, very disciplined right here, and then be able to stop himself. That was an excellent play there by John Kaminsky. Look, we've had hit and miss at times in zone coverage. We've seen that this season, but we've also had some good, and I think this is an example where we have some good, and I want to showcase that. Lions go into it looks like a cover 6 look here. So here's your quarter side, here's your cover 2 look, and a lot of times they were kind of doing that towards the DJ Moore side, stacking on top of the safety, kind of giving you that high-low defensive look. Makes a ton of sense. You don't want to let that guy get over top, but I love this, man. First off, for the linebacker position, watch this. This is one thing that linebackers did well in this game. Communication by linebackers linebackers amongst each other was really good in coverage. And here would be a good example of that. Watch them all rotate. Running back leaks into the flat. Alex takes that. Derek Barnes then slides down, takes away the tight end, so they take away 1-2. Here in the slot, Brian Branch right here with Mooney. He's got this underneath zone, but he knows he has outside help for Sutton, so he steps inside with it. Then he's going to pass it off to Cam Sutton, so that's taken away. And then, of course, the safety position. Kirby Joseph, he's playing right on the sticks on this second down, so he's stepping right in front, essentially, of this dig. Obviously, you have outside leverage here with Jerry Jacobs, but as Kirby feels that, then he starts to run with the route and take it away. So everything is really covered up well in zone coverage here, and this was a good example. Another guy I would point out is Julian. Okay, maybe not this rep exactly, but Julian did a lot of good things in pass rush that I did not notice until I watched it back. Hutchinson, of course, gets the light sack, and that's because the Lions handle business in coverage, and then, of course, they maintain contain, which was the key here. See the contain on the interior? They're not letting him get upfield. Everybody is very disciplined here to not let him get upfield. Look at Julian. Make sure that he's be able to get back to the inside. Everybody contains him well. That's always the key against Fields, and you cover well in the back end, you get off the field. It's kind of an issue because it's kind of tough to cover this, but at the same time, it's like, okay, there's little things here. So, for example, this looks like more of a kind of a cover 3 drop a little bit on this play. That's kind of what it looks like. Could be quarters, but it looks more like it's a cover 3 drop. And what stands out to me is this. So, they're going to roll down iffy, but Alex Anzalone is actually going to blitz off the edge. And what that does, it takes away one of those underneath defenders that you typically have. So, Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, you typically have Alex Anzalone, and then also iffy on the play. Now, he's going to keep good depth here. You see the route combinations are all going to push vertically on this play, so he maintains good depth. But when Alex Anzalone comes off the edge, now they lose one of those typical underneath defenders between Derek Barnes, also having Jack Campbell underneath, and if this is a cover 3, if you count him as well, they kind of lose this flat defender. If it's quarters coverage, then you're still losing your underneath defender here because now you only have 2 instead of 3. But the real key comes back to really 2 spots. First off, because you bring Alex Anzalone off the edge and he doesn't drop out and take this running back, now all of a sudden Iffy is kind of has to do a little bit more. He just has more ground to cover. We saw this a few times. That's the risk with bringing an extra player underneath in coverage, especially if you don't get home immediately like this. You know, he's able to step up and kind of keep the play alive. And now this one, yeah, maybe they've kind of missed a holding here with Isaiah Buggs. I mean, I would agree with you on this play, but with the play staying alive, now you lose that underneath presence here with Alex Anzalone, so he has to deal with the flat and not just kind of sit here underneath and read everything. On top of that, if this is a cover 3 look, you see the kind of the communication here between Jerry, seemingly, and Kirby Joseph. Now, Kirby is a guy that one thing I love is, man, every time I watch him, the more and more I watch him in coverage, I feel more and more confident, like, that dude's going to be where he's supposed to be in terms of he's going to know where you need to be, where I need to be. He's going to communicate that. I just get a lot of confidence watching him. Now, understand that he will get aggressive, and he will let things over top. That happens. Usually, he's been able to kind of recover, like we saw it against the Saints when he got the pass breakup, but that will happen. He will get aggressive. However, I absolutely love his communication in the back end, man. This game specifically, I was like, dude, I love what this guy's doing back there. But here, if he's rolling to the single high look, watch him communicate right there. So the route, this is always a problem. Instead of running through Darnell Mooney into Jerry Jacobs, he sits down. And you can see Kirby seemingly is trying to communicate, hey, go take that. I'm trying to get to the single high look. Jerry kind of just floats out here in his zone coverage. The underneath guys don't even see it, so they're not going to really be able to get into play. And if this is a cover 3 look, obviously Jack Campbell's sitting on his side kind of the football as well as the quarterback moves that way. Fields does a nice job of rolling one way to kind of pull those linebackers away from the spot. It just kind of opens up a wide open hole for the receiver just to sit down because no one actually slides over and takes it. And there was a little communication after that play seemingly between the two. Now, this would be another little thing where I'm watching it live and saying, man, it's predictable. However, I think we kind of tipped our hand a little bit. Watch this. So you notice Jerry Jacobs is following Bayless Jones across the field, this motion across into the slot. That usually tells you it's man coverage. But here's the key with that. If you notice Jerry Jacobs is communicating with Kirby, he tips his hand to me a little bit. He's blitzing on this play because watch how he walks up on the receiver. There's the communication between Kirby, right? You see them communicate there. Justin Fields is watching him. You see those two communicate. He's telling him, like, okay, you do this, I'm assuming. So when that happens, watch Jerry walk up into inside slot, right? He walks up like, man, I'm bringing this heat. And right before he snaps it, Justin Fields is going to peek over there. So he's watching it here, over there. So he's watching it here. Then right there, you see that little peak where Jerry Jacobs is at. He's not walking up. He's not aligned with the receiver. He's walking up to show blitz on this play. So now all of a sudden, even if he drops out, Justin Fields has to be thinking, that's the first place I'm looking. If he drops out, I'll go away from it. But if he's blitzing on this play, that guy's going to be open. On top of that, you're going to see the safety slightly rotate, but he's not even looking at that to me. To me, he might be after he looks back away from Jerry. But when he sees Jerry kind of communicate and then he jumps inside, not over top of the slot, you kind of, to me, tip your hand. Now, Jerry late on the play kind of steps back over, but to me, me, it kind of tips the hand. So immediately Field's like, let me see what's happening over there. He does blitz, and it just doesn't give a fair shot for Iffy to really dive down. As you notice here before the snap, keep an eye on where Josh Paschal is lined up here pre-snap. He's inside the tackle. It seems like Brian Branch originally was going to be bringing the blitz from the slot, and they were going to have the safety roll over top. But once they motioned over and they went to this 3-receiver look on the Field side, all of a sudden that shifted, and that's where I think the communication came into play, because it wasn't originally that Jerry was thinking he was going to blitz until he motioned over, and then he was like, no, now you have to go. He's going to stick with his guy. I'm taking the inside slot. And I think that's where the issue came in, because they need a guy that's closest to the quarterback to get real pressure. I want to jump in here and talk a little bit about our partnership for this season with BetUS, a leading online betting platform offering a wide range of sports betting and casino games, from the most popular sports, basketball, baseball, of course, football, that's the time right now, all the way to esports. Well known for their security, reliability, and customer service, which I had a great experience with firsthand, them reaching out to me because they didn't want me to miss out on a deal once I signed up. And it's very easy to sign up. Use that top link in the description. You deposit at least $100, you can get a 125% match. You click that link, it'll take you to a page where you click Bet Now, and in 3 pages, you can be signed up with BetUS. There's also tons of different ways to bet with BetUS. Outside of casino games, if you want to go the sportsbook route, you can go to pre-game betting, whether that's over-unders, spreads. You can utilize prop bets, which we do shorts on now every week. Some of the game props that I like for each upcoming Lions game, all the way to live betting and parlays, which are just a ton of fun, just to see what kind of crazy idea you can come up with. Features in there which I really like for example, the props builder, where you can build out a prop with a specific player. Maybe you think Khalif Raymond's going to have a big day. You can build out a player prop for that player, whether that's receptions or yards, maybe it's touchdowns. Still have tons of different ongoing promotions available right now, whether you're a new customer or you're a existing customer that's just re-upping with BetUS. There's tons of different promotions that are available right now. My favorite parts of BetUS is their loyalty program. If you place wagers on BetUS, you can work your way up tiers on BetUS, earning different rewards such as bigger bonuses or welcome free play or free payouts, and utilize that top link in the description. I know a lot of you guys already bet during the NFL season, so if you want to follow along with the shorts that I make and maybe some of the bets that I like for the week, click that top link, sign up with BetUS. At very least, you don't even need to deposit money right away. You can just look around, just see what's kind of out there, just take a look at the website, but it's definitely worth doing, especially if you're already betting. Again, if you have any questions like customer service issues, they have an FAQ on their website that you can go to, or you can get into contact with them utilizing live chat, email, and phone support. So again, shout out to BetUS for supporting this channel, our partner for the NFL season, and let's get back to the video. That's just something I noted on this one. And then again, now, I want to make this clear, because I thought Jerry did some really good things in this game. He saved points before half, essentially. They went to a cover 3 look. He broke up the pass before half. He saved an opportunity for them to get points by making an excellent play on the sideline, as well as his run support. Can't really ever question it. Sometimes he'll miss tackles, but he's going to give you big run support. The only reason I point this play out, because I'm not trying to show up everything Jerry's done wrong in this game, because that's not the case. He did some good in this game too. But what I am pointing out here is just a similar look here against New Orleans, right? They got DJ Moore on Jacobs, and they run kind of this out round. We saw this against New Orleans, where it's like we just don't have kind of that drive explosiveness to plant drive on this football. And he opens up the same way. There's the speed out, bam, and he's unable to plant and drive on this football. Makes an excellent catch, but just ain't able to drive on that football, and you give up kind of the first down, playing, as you can see here, a cover 1 blitz seemingly on display, which Aaron Glenn was very willing to go into, and like he said, he wanted guys to win one-on-one. Also, you get a nice little win, sort of, by Julian. If anything, it kind of opens up the edge where Derek Barnes has to fill in, and he does a little bit, but you get that crash inside right there. I mean, the ball's out too fast, but, I mean, Julian was giving us something. You'll see him again. It wasn't bad by Jacobs. I think he played this well. He just got there just a tad early. But for you to go into quarters coverage, this is where the communication needs to be on point, because we've seen too many instances where guys are just wide open, just because, okay, it's a zone beater, but the guy shouldn't be wide open. They handle this well. Watch this here. So they go into quarters. So Jerry Jacobs has this outside quarter, but watch him. He keeps really strong depth here. He doesn't get super deep, stays on top of Bayless. It's seamless between him and Brian Branch. You go take the flat. You're an underneath defender. I'm going to stay on top here, take Bayless, and then I'm going to sit down right with it. He does good with depth. Alex Anzalone sticks with Darnell Mooney. There's that communication there between Cam Sutton to stay on the outside and Alex right here, bam. So everything's communicated well, and the depth is really good by Jerry. He just got there a tick early. I mean, he was trying to anticipate it. He got there a tick early. This doesn't necessarily make me mad. All right, I'm like, hey, dude, you did a lot of things right here. He just got there a tick early. I see what he was doing. He was trying to jump it. He felt it, and he played it really well. But he just got there a tick early, and you get the pass interference call. Now, here's good coverage, and this is why I really am starting like, man, Kirby Joseph, like he'll give up some things, but I love what he's doing in the back end. Lions go into a red zone cover 2 look here defensively, and they're going to pass this football. Now, watch, communication by linebackers and DBs, and I think the next play will actually show a little bit more of that. But here you can see Alex and Jack Campbell kind of the communication, but Alex Anzalone, who has, this outside underneath zone, there's the communication like get towards the outside, but Alex has recognition that, okay, he's taking that out route. Obviously, over top, you have your safety to deal with it, and he's able to jump back inside and kind of take away Deontay Foreman. So now it comes back to this opposite side, the field side, where right here you get Kirby Joseph, and watch him get on top of this route here from DJ Moore. Boom, he's on top of this thing, man. He positions himself, he tracks down the receiver, then finds the football, and he's able to get himself into a spot to break up this pass. And again, there's leverage, DJ Moore. I mean, I guess if this thing is like out a little bit quicker and it's just like a bullet, maybe this is something that he's unable to get to, but Kirby plays this thing well. Cam Sutton, again, takes that little out route right here, and they kind of create that level so they can try to create leverage, but Kirby's on top of it, and he breaks it up. Now, here's the communication. Here, the Lions go into what looks like more of a quarters look in the red zone, and watch the underneath coverage here. This is beautiful. I mean, you see stuff like this, it's very promising because, man, just a few weeks ago, we're watching Chicago, and I'm like, yo, there's so many plays where our linebackers are just running around, not covering anybody. This is on point. Watch here between Derek, Jack, and Alex Anzalone. Watch these two right here on the top. The rookie and Derek Barnes, who I thought played a lot better in this game. Watch this. So here, Derek Barnes is with it originally as it breaks to this out route, but then it whips back inside. So now here's communication. Jack Campbell floats that way with the running back leaking out. He reads it. He said, hey, you go take the flat. Jack Campbell slides over, takes away the tight end. Boom. Seamless transition. You cover both underneath routes up. Alex Anzalone, of course, he has kind of this little underneath route with safety up over top, but these two communicating well. Jack reading the back, take that away. Now on top of it, look at the back end, all right? Cam Sutton, if he's in his quarter looks, he's kind of isolated right here with Darnell Mooney. Sits inside, takes away kind of the back of the end zone. Jerry Jacobs, one-on-one with Cole Kmet. Handles business, doesn't dive on a double move, stays on top of the route. They take it away. So now all of a sudden you're looking across the board, the coverage is good, Kirby stays on top, and the ball's thrown out of the back of the end zone. Not because Lions got immediate pressure, but because they contained, didn't let him take off. You can see it right here. There's not really any pass rush. There's no pass rush lane that's wide open. The Lions just hold, maintain, and then late we get kind of a win, but the coverage in the back end, another incomplete pass, man. So it was just good to see that. Again, it wasn't perfect, but it was little things. It was like, that's awesome to see. Here's an example of little things. And to me, this was part of, okay, Kendall Vildor, he's new here. And, you could say, well, this is actually not on Vildor, this is more on Alex. Either one is fine, because we don't really know exactly. But I can tell you from what I've seen of watching this defensive All-22 throughout the year, usually this tends to be a situation where Alex Anzalone will take the flat because he's that underneath defender, and you want that outside cornerback to stay on top of the receiver. Usually that's what this turns into when you have a look like this, which looks like kind of a cover 6 look. So you get kind of isolated here on the backside with 2 receivers. Well, you have the 1 receiver in the back. So if he goes over to help, okay, he stays inside leverage. Look at him take it away. Beautiful. On the top here, you have an underneath zone corner with help over top from Kirby Joseph. So really the key is here you get that little mix up where, however, you also notice that on this play, instead of Kendall Vildor sticking on top of the receiver as they usually do, he stays kind of just more so into his zone, taking away the flat, but Alex Anzalone is going to dive into the flat, and that leaves this open tight end. Sometimes it seemingly comes down to the splits, but again, because they're in cover 6, if he does not give him that middle field help, Vildor may have been expecting that when it breaks inside that he's going to have someone to just step down on it. But because, again, of the look that they're giving, kind of this 3-by-1 look as an offense, and it kind of overload essentially that cover 2 side of the field, if he actually does a good job of not putting a 2-on-1 on Kirby Joseph at deep safety with kind of the wheel hitting the sideline and breaking middle field, he pulls Iffy out of the play. So you are pretty much 1-on-1 on the bottom. And again, that's where you get the little breakdown. How about Derek Barnes, man? I mean, my goodness, he's making some beautiful plays. Again, had to mess up in coverage, but he's doing some beautiful things. Another quarterback design run. Watch Justin Fields on this play. So they're going to run this, again, fake jet touch pass, and then he's going to run this sweep towards the outside. But Justin Fields here is stopped by Derek Barnes, and Derek Barnes handles business. Julian, again, kind of gets upfield, but if you notice, he doesn't go straight at the quarterback, which he may have been able to. Maybe just go straight at Justin Fields and try to get a tackle for loss. But I think, if anything, maybe give him some credit for trying to stick with the guys that were towards him instead of just taking taking off a field, maybe giving up a, I don't know, potential like flip to the back or something. He tried to maintain outside leverage, which I have no issue with. But then also watch Derek Barnes here on the lineman at the second level right here. Boom, make him miss, step up, bam, I'm on that. And it's Julian Okwara who keeps outside contained, so he knows he has that outside help. Once Julian doesn't dive upfield, he stays to the outside, he sees it, so he kind of recognizes, let me get to the edge here. And then it frees up Derek Barnes to go win. And in this game, he was winning just like this. Bam, slide by, make that big tackle. Derek Barnes making another play against the run right there. Because we're doing it, let's just show another one. They set up a tight end screen. Now, this is where I point to being predictable. I think the Lions can, when they start to find something they like, they start to kind of lean into it. So here you keep running quarters. Okay, defensively, offensively, they're like, let's just run a tight end screen. Let's just get everybody to drop out, run a tight end screen. They don't have enough underneath defenders. It makes sense to run this play. But again, Derek Barnes opens up, gets a lot of depth in coverage. Then they set up this tight end screen, but watch him here. He's just not having it. Watch him. Whoop! He slides right by both offensive linemen. Bam, shut that thing down. Now, Benito helped us out a little bit. I don't know purposely. I just don't know if he could get to the quarterback there. But he helped us out a little bit, forced him to bounce. And then, of course, you get a little bit of support here from the edge, too. I mean, everybody's kind of staying on it. Everybody's working, which is a positive. Everybody's working towards the quarterback. Okay, you got the big man out here working. But Derek Barnes, bam, beautiful, hops inside, shuts that thing down with the defensive lineman help right here, right? So we looked at the touchdown on the scramble, but right here, it's just another little thing. It's an incomplete pass, but it's little. So they're in man coverage, and defensively, you get this motion across. Now, this is going to be more of a fast motion look here. As you can see, they snap it as he's just now clearing the offensive line. So you get a fast motion, more of a jet look here. But the issue comes into play right here. It's just a little hesitation. Jerry Jacobs immediately tries to play it like he's covered. He's going to stick with the receiver throughout. Then you get communication here from Kirby. Kirby's like, no, I got it. You drop. You be the deep middle safety. I'm going to take him on the play. But that being a tick late, to both be on the same page right there. I've seen instances in the past, I think back to last year, where even when someone would communicate, they would still just not even like seemingly listen. They would just go cover him anyway. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have been the worst thing, but that's not what you want, right? You want this to be on point. That way Kirby can step down, take that away, and that way Jerry can just sit in the middle field safety. And they've trusted Kirby to switch those and take those man coverage routes. So here he gets there. He's a tick late, because that late because of the communication there. But he's in a pretty solid position overall. So I do like that it happened, but it's just like the little things. But I don't have too big of an issue because that's fast motion. But you like to see that just be a little more crisp, more dialed in. Like, okay, I got you. We're doing that. I'm just assuming you're taking that on the play. So overall, man, I thought it was a much better defensive performance. Again, it wasn't perfect, but the way that we handled Justin Fields on design runs was incredibly impressive. I mean, it was great to see that kind of lock in. Some things out of Julian. Aiden Hutchinson's going to do his thing getting pressure. He always does. Even if they don't show up at the stat sheet, he always does. You just watch the games. He does. Okay, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I can show you every Hutchinson play. He wins. But Julian Okwara showed us some stuff. Levi, I think, showed a little bit there as well. The defensive tackles weren't perfect, but they made good plays. Bugs on the front side. Benito made some good plays as well, even off the backside. So there were some little things there. I didn't see a ton of Broderick Martin. Nothing that really stood out. I think there was one example, they had a nice little run because he kind of got pushed off the spot a little bit. So I don't know that I saw a ton from Broderick that stood out to me in this game, but the linebacker communication amongst each other is massive. I thought Iffy played pretty darn well. Little things, but I thought he played pretty darn well, and they'll have to get some of that stuff dialed in between Jerry and some of the safeties. But on top of that, we know Cam Sutton will communicate in coverage. He's pretty good at that. Hasn't always been perfect, but you think about the sweep that they tried to run where it was ultimately going to show run and then they were going to throw it. It was taken away. Why? Because Cam Sutton didn't dive. He was disciplined. We saw earlier in this season essentially the exact same play. We're playing Baltimore, and the amount of breakdowns that we had from linebacker, Sambacker, whatever it was, we were just breaking down left and right. Again, we still have some of those. You'll have them. But earlier in the season, Cam Sutton, right, he's the veteran. He dives down when Baltimore shows kind of an outside quarterback run. He dives down. He has to stay over toppers there, and he allows the guy to get behind him and come around, doesn't dive, stays disciplined, stays over top. They throw an incomplete pass. He forced an incomplete pass. And then we can go even back a week earlier where we saw a fake screen they tried to set up. Lions were disciplined. They took it away. So, and Derek Barnes had a TFL. So those little things, there's things coming together. There's still issues, and I think we pointed out some of the main ones here. Kendall Vildor, I thought, played actually pretty well watching it back. Have a ton of like man-to-man coverage refs that I noted. However, he did a pretty good job. There was really one good example where he was singled up on the outside with 13, and he handled business, got outside leverage, maintained some physicality, but also stayed in a good position. He gave up the slant where if he did a really nice job avoiding the pick play. That's another thing that he's doing pretty well. He's very aware, seemingly, of what's going on. He avoids the pick play, so you give up the completion on the slant, but he contested it. So you gave it up, but he contested it. Obviously, he had the little stop. He was in a quarters look. They went underneath. He made the tackle. He shut down a screen as well. He just tried to set up a tunnel. He got in. He was willing to play run support. Just a couple little things there in communication. A little pick play they tried to have happen in the red zone. Was open. Fields missed it. Still would have probably made the tackle, but it was a tick late with Vildor. So you have some of those like little things like with Alex Anzalone with Vildor that need to be really dialed in to be super confident, and you'll probably continue to have those little things till he gets more and more reps. But hopefully they have now a pretty good amount of on sample size of just different little things where they can point it out and be like, look, just this is what we do when we're in this, and we'll kind of dial these things in because we're going to continue to see reps from him. I pretty much guarantee it. So with that being said, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. As always, man, I want to give a shout out to you guys for tuning in into today's video, man. This was interesting. I haven't done a defensive all-22, it feels like, in a minute, so this was fun. This was a good one, but we got a short week this week, so tomorrow, Friday, expect some sort of preview, whether that's a live stream or a video. Something's going to be coming out Friday, as well as probably our prop bet picks as well. So a lot of things going down tomorrow. Also, shout out to our partner for this NFL season, BetUS. Use that top link in the description, man. If you're going to do some sports betting this weekend, you might as well click that top link. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.